Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I got to say. So shout out and let's go.
Hi, everyone. This is Streaminn HUBB Radio. I am Sage Stevens, the host of Shout Out with Sage. And my guest today is a comedian and an actor. He frequently performs at the Hollywood Improv, the Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, the Shindig Show, and his film and TV credits include Dolomite Is My Name, Straight Outta Compton, American Gangster, and many, many more. And I want to welcome to the show today, JAMARIO McCLAIN. Hello, how are you? Thanks for being here.
Hey, Sage. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks. How did you end up getting into comedy?
I was just a badass kid growing up with 5 sisters. I was the only boy. I used to get in trouble a lot. I was always just doing little things like trying to get attention. And I did a talent show in 5th grade where I dressed up as an old man. Me and 2 of my friends, we were like old men. And I think that was my first time getting a feel of making everybody laugh on stage. And like not just the kids, but the teachers were laughing. So back then I didn't realize I wanted to be a comedian, but I knew I liked that feeling of, making people laugh and people talking about it after.
So you felt that energy and everything?
Yeah, like just being on stage and performing, and, it was fun though. We just did a little skit and it was like, we were just literally we had our pants all the way up like high waters and, we were like, what, 10 years old? And we were old men. We were 3 old men.
Very cool. And you are from LA, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm from LA. I'm from SoCal, born in Inglewood.
Okay. And so was your family supportive of you coming into comedy? Like how did that happen? Yeah, like as long as because I graduated college and I played football in college and I had dreams of trying to make it to NFL. I didn't. Obviously that's a dream deferred, but my parents, as long as I finished college, they were supportive no matter what I pursued. And then I went to college in Arkansas, and if you ever want to feel like you want to go back in time, you should go to the state of Arkansas because it just goes slower. And it was a dry county where my college was at. And it was just like I was just bored out of my mind my first few semesters. I was playing football, but like just being in the dorms, I started writing more, and I started realizing like, oh, when I go back to LA, I want to do stand-up, or I want to get in acting. I want to, I just realized what I had in my backyard the whole time when I was far away. Right. How long? So you came back to LA, you started comedy right away, or how?
No, actually, I came back. I graduated in the winter of 2008. And then I guess I just went a whole year. I took an internship because I got my degree in communications. I wanted to get into like sports broadcasting. But I basically, I took an internship at Power 106 radio station, and it was a cool experience. But I just basically, I went a year after graduating. I came back home, but also had a baby. I had a 2-year-old at that time. So I was like little odd jobs, and a year went by, and then I started doing stand-up in the winter of December of 2009. So I was out here for a year when I moved back before I started doing stand-up. And
how does that work, like getting into stand-up? Do you audition? How do you get?
It's crazy. It's like it's a lot easier now because of the internet. But I didn't even know about open mics. I found a show on Craigslist. I found a show. I got my first show ever performing was a book show. I didn't get paid, but it wasn't an open mic. It was literally a book show. Okay. And it was it was at a barber shop in downtown LA, like up the street from Skid Row. But it was cool. Like I had like some of my family came, I brought up like 5 or 6 people came out. But it was like, like I said, it was regular audience members. So I didn't know what an open mic was. And I did good the first time. People didn't believe it was my first time. So I realized I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I could do this. If I would have bombed or did horrible the first time, I probably would have gave up and not pursued it. But yeah, that was my first time. And then I started figuring out like they have open mics. I met a comedian on that first show. His name's Rick Glassman. He was on a TV show called Undateable, and he has a podcast. He's a Comedy Store regular, but he told me about the Comedy Store, and then basically told me about an open mic up there, and then kind of I figured it out. Like, you know, they have open mics, and just, you know, you just have to be willing to do it like every night as much as you can when you're new.
Just to hone your craft and learn.
Yeah, you just figuring it out. You just want to do it. You don't know no better. You're doing it for free. You're doing free shows. You're doing bringer shows. The bringer shows is a show like where you have to bring people to perform. A lot of comedians, especially like veteran comedians, they don't like those kind of shows. Those shows are like, there's certain bookers that do those type of shows. And I feel like if you're a comedian, you should be promoting every show you're on. But yeah, obviously when you get to a point, when you could bring people that buy tickets, yeah, you're making money. But if you're getting people, you're getting your friends and family to come see you, and you're new and you suck, but they're spending money and you have to go parking, and it's just like, you know, it's kind of it's a weird energy, you know.
And so have you ever had a show where it hasn't gone quite the way you wanted it to? Oh
yeah, of course. It's been a while since I bombed, but there's always those type of shows. You always, if you do stand up long enough, and if you do it, you know, you're gonna have those bad nights and those off nights. But yeah, it's a few, man. I can't even. It's been time, you know, you just be off and you lose the crowd a little bit. But there was one particular show, and I wasn't even on the show. I was trying to get a guest spot, meaning like I wasn't booked, but I was there, and I asked the booker. He's a comedian named Spanky. He used to be on MTV Wildin' Out. This is at the Comedy Store. He had a show in the main room at the Comedy Store, and it was like comedians, and then it was rappers. It was like a variety show. But I just asked him if I could do like 5 minutes. I was just, at the time, this is like years ago. This is at least 7-8 years ago. I just wanted to just get on stage, and he said, "Yeah, I'll get you up if I have room. If I have room, I'll get you up." And then coming closer to the end of the night, it was like the show was coming to it was about to end. He ended up telling me like, "Oh yeah, bro, my bad. Like, there's no room for you." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And then at the moment, it was like a singer or rapper on the stage, and then he was gonna get one more comedian to go after that rapper, and that comedian was a comedian by the name of Brian Moses. He started the roast battle at the Comedy Store, so he's like the host and the producer of that show. So this is before the roast battle. This is years ago, and then Moses was like, "Do you want to just go with me and we'll just act like we're rappers?" And yeah, I know. And this is me just being hungry for stage time like an idiot. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you."
Sure.
So never did improv or nothing like that. And yeah, we basically went up there and we got like booed off the stage. But mind you, that type of show, it was like people there for the music acts. It was just like it was a different type of show. But I always consider that like bombing to me is like if you get booed, like the Apollo, where they like take you off the stage. I feel like that's real bombing. If they're just not laughing, and then it's like you're still up there, they're still listening to you. But basically, that I don't know. Moses probably remember that night, but it was basically like the only time I ever felt like I just wanted to go and hide under a rock.
Right. Is feeding off the crowd, like, does that help you? Do you do a lot of improvisation? Like, what is your comedy about?
My comedy is about myself. I just talk about me. Now, my comedy is my life experiences. It's about things I've been through. I talk about my kids. I have a 15-year-old and I have a 9-year-old. I have a big family. Like I said, I have 5 sisters. Just growing up, you know, my household was always crazy. But the crowd work stuff, I do a lot of that when I'm like hosting. And that's some of the stuff that's kind of it's like improv, or whatever you want to call like riffing, or it's like on the moment stuff. I'm talking about in the moment how a person look or what they're doing, or if I ask them a question or whatever they answer back. But a lot of that stuff is like, you do that, the more you do it, the better you get at like doing crowd work. Like some people are great at it, some people suck at it and they stay away from it. But I like doing it. I feel like my crowd work, a lot of my stuff where I'm like shooting from the hip, it's literally fresh off my mind. A lot of the times it works. But that's the problem. I don't remember. If I don't record myself, I don't remember what I said. So yeah, a lot of it's like wasted material.
Right. You said something that was like great, but you're not going to remember it once you're done. Because
it's not part of my regular set.
Right. You also act. How did that come about for you?
I don't know. So in LA, there's a lot of people that come out to LA to break into acting, and there's a lot of actors that end up becoming comedians. I don't know if they're agents. A lot of people tell me, yeah, you should try stand up, but I'm like a comedian that just started doing acting. I'm gonna consider myself an actor, even though I do act, and I'm in the Screen Actors Guild and all that.
Right.
But I'm a comedian first. Like I'm not. You won't see me and Denzel going out anytime soon. I'm not up to that level. But
you're not going to be competing for the same roles. Is that what you're saying?
Like, until it happens. I'm more of right now I'm in the typecast characters playing drug dealers and gang members and inmates. And I could do accents too. I am very happy to be here. I am from Nigeria. Like I could do different accents. I have range. I'm like Don Cheeto. I could do accents.
That's a skill. Not everyone has that skill. Accents can be hard. So.
Oh yeah, definitely, Governor. I'm not saying that.
Awesome. You're hired. What would your biggest advice be for someone that was thinking of coming to LA to be a comedian?
My advice would be for them not to come to LA. It's already too many comedians here. To just stay home. Now, I would say that if they want to do it, it's definitely a lifestyle. You have to want to force yourself to get up on stage as much as possible, especially if you're new, because you have to see what works and what don't work. You got to make mistakes. You got to figure out where the good shows and stages are and where the sucky ones are at to avoid, or where the sucky people are at and bookers and avoid. You have to go out there and find those and make those mistakes and go through those
trial and error stuff.
Trial and error, exactly.
Yeah.
And you figure out who is in your best interest, or someone that could help you further away, or you get mentorship. Find someone that you could go up under, but you don't want to be like. I would say hit up the open mics and get better. Like you don't want to be trying to and be impressing if you're new, and you don't want, like, people see you and they bomb. Like I don't know, like Rita, the manager at the Improv. Like you don't want Rita. You don't want her to see you bomb a bunch of times, and that's all she's gonna remember you. Like you want to get up and be in front of her when you know you're ready and you're confident and you have funny material. But like when you're just like starting off and you barely have 5 minutes of material, yeah, I would say like stay away from the clubs, go to open mics, but mostly go to every open mic you can. But yeah, you're like don't try to like be like ask I don't know, you run into Dane Cook and ask if you could open for him. Like I don't think that's a good idea,
If you only have 5 minutes. How many minutes do you need? Like
so when you're new, usually the MC or host of a show, they do like 10 minutes up top. They do the announcements. So if you're new and you work at a club, they'll have you probably host or do a cold open, and that's only like 5 minutes. That's usually for people like that work at the clubs. But yeah, when you're featuring, you got to be able to do at least 20 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
More than likely 30, like as a feature. And then obviously a headliner is usually 45 minutes to an hour. And in LA, it's like a showcase city. So it's a lot of like headliners in LA only do like 20, 30 minutes. Like it's just different in LA. Like, you're going to do a lot of showcase. You're going to do shows where it's a lot of comedians on the lineup. And you're going to basically do like 7 to 10 minutes on those shows. But yeah, as I say, you got to get on stage as much as possible to build up your stage time.
Right. Get that confidence.
Yeah, because some people that they put out a special. Let's say they've been doing stand-up 6 years and they record a hour or 30 minutes. Yeah, you're on stage for that long, but is it funny the whole time? You're just up there doing a TED talk, Basically.
Sorry, you're not doing a TED talk.
Yeah, that's what it turns into though.
So what's the difference between LA and then I guess like some of the other cities that you go to?
Well, all I know is LA. I performed in Hawaii. I performed in Alaska. I performed in Texas, Vegas, obviously, Reno. I performed in Virginia, Florida, Atlanta. I've never been in New York, but I just know that every city, especially the bigger cities, they all have comedy scenes, and some are probably more supportive than others. Like I heard I performed in Oakland, San Francisco a few times, but I never really went up there like that, where I heard it's very supportive up there. I heard Atlanta is very supportive. New York is a lot of shows. You could get on stage a lot in New York. I haven't been yet. But But I think it's no matter where you go, if you're funny and you've been doing it long enough, I feel like you should be able to hold your own no matter where you're at. That's why I feel like your funny should travel well.
Your funny should travel well. It's a good line. Are other comedians supportive? Is there competition? Like how is that?
I think it's definitely a competition feel of it. But there's a lot of people that you build friendships and you build those connections with people, and yeah, they're always going to give you information. Like I just recently got an agent for cruise ships, and I got that through another comedian, and it's like, if you have information that can help somebody out, yeah, some people are willing to give it, but some people ain't gonna go out their way to give it, like they want to keep it to themselves. So right. I'm always one of those comedians, like I book shows too. So people reach out to me, and even if I don't know them, I would I'll give them like 5 minutes to see how they are. I would never be like, oh, send me a video, or I don't treat it like that, because when I was coming up, I wanted people to be able to give me opportunities, and I used to ask, and people give me the runaround and be like, oh, it's booked up, or hit me again in a few months. Like, no, I think it's important to treat others as you want to be treated. So for my philosophy, when it comes with me, if anybody asks me for any information, I have it, I'm gonna give it to them. If they ask me for stage time, if I have it, I'm gonna give it to them. Right.
Yeah, you might not give them 20 minutes, but you'll give them.
Yeah, especially if they're new and I don't know them. Yeah, but if it's like people I know that they proven, I know they're working comedians, yeah, I'll book them and pay them,
Right. Well, because how can you get better if you're not going up on stage, right?
Exactly. And I was never one of the people that practiced in the mirror. I never, ever in my life practiced a set in the mirror.
Good to know. What's the difference between being a comedian and being an actor?
Well, there's some great comedians that became great actors. It's a bunch I can name. I don't know, Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy. It's just too many to name, Right. They became great actors, but I feel like they were comedians first. Mm-hmm. But I think the difference is actors, you're reading someone else's material. You're reading the writer's material. Even though some great actors that they have their own style, like Denzel. I feel like Denzel plays himself in every movie. It's just how good he is. But comedian, you're doing your material, you're doing your persona, whatever your stage persona is, or your style of comedy. It's yours. It's all our own. Where, like I said, actors have the makeup artist, they have the lighting, they have everything else to help them to make them kill. Yeah. Where all we have is our material and a microphone. And it's up to us to live or die on that stage.
What do you love most about being a comedian?
I like the freedom. I like working for myself. Mm-hmm. So I don't drink or do drugs no more, but it's a lifestyle. You're definitely gonna be out late a lot. You're gonna eat a lot of shitty food if you're on the road a lot. But I think it's just working for myself and creating my own opportunities. Doing stand up, you run your own business, so you're in the driver's seat, and that's what I love about it. I'm not waiting for someone to offer me a show. I'll just go and create my own show.
Is there someone that helped you a lot, during your career so far?
There's a lot of comedians that helped me along the way. It's too many to name. Right. But basically, it's one of those where I have a lot of friends in the comedy community that been doing it way longer than me, and they not say they helped me. Yeah, they booked me on different shows or gave me information, but I think it's just in general, just being, I guess, like a friend or being someone, and we could be I don't call them just to be trying to get on shows. I call them to see how they're doing, or just to catch up, or But like I said, it's way too many. It's too many to name for real.
Right.
Because then if I start naming people, other people be like, "Why you didn't name me?"
Right. Exactly. What do you dislike the most about the business?
All right. So, in general, stand-up comedy, it's subjective. It's an art. It's one of its last art forms, but it's a lot of PC culture now and cancel culture, and it's a lot of, you have to walk a fine line, and you're walking on like, you're like, you don't want to you don't want to have to be too scared to say what's on your mind, or to do the unconventional or whatever, do the against the norm material. I feel like I'm one of those people, like, yeah, if it's a white comedian on stage saying the N-word and being racist, hey, that shit better be funny. I'm not going to be mad because you're saying, I'm just saying, make it funny. So as long as whatever topic you're using or choosing to talk about, I just say, as long as it's funny or thought provoking or whatever. Yeah. So that in the business right now, yeah, it's kind of sucked that you can't just be free and talk about whatever you want, because you'll get canceled. Literally, like, you'll get canceled. It better be funny, you know, especially if you have a big enough following. You'll lose your deals, whatever agents you have, or just by saying the wrong thing. So some people are walking that fine line.
Right. For me, I think that's what comedians are supposed to do, though. They're supposed to make you think. They're supposed to provoke conversation. They're supposed to talk about things that you don't want to talk about and that aren't politically correct. That's what a comedian's supposed to do. So
right.
I don't understand how, like, if I don't personally like your humor, like, I'm not a big fan of certain types of humor, so I'm just going to choose not to listen to those people or whatever. I just think
cancel culture is the opposite. Instead of choosing not to listen, they actually choose to build a coalition and go against you and get people get other people not to listen to you, or, you know. But Dave Chappelle still, like, he's one of the greatest ones right now that's working, and he worked that fine line where he's not really connected with no TV shows no more, nothing. He can't get canceled. You know, he has his following. He had his money for Netflix, but it's like, you know, one of those, can't no studio just cancel something on him no more. Even though it did look pretty bad with the whole LGBT protests and all that with Netflix, but they didn't take his specials down. You know, he's still selling out arenas. So he's kind of one of those untouchables, but yeah, he's still, you know, he's very smart. He's very smart the way he say things and how he works jokes. And yeah, he's one of those few. It's certain comedians that are going to stay away from all those topics, like Kevin Hart's and the Steve Harveys or the Jerry Seinfelds, because they have they don't want to lose all these endorsement deals and all that money coming in, you know?
Well, especially someone with like Kevin Hart, who also has all the movie stuff.
Yeah, he's a brand.
Would go away.
Yeah, he's connected to too many studios and too many many entities.
So where are you going to be performing next?
Okay, so tonight I'm in Temecula area. It's a place called the Hive. Tomorrow I'm in West Covina at the Royal Lounge, and then Friday and Saturday it's 2 shows both nights. I'm at Madhouse Comedy Club in San Diego.
Okay, great. And how do people find you online?
They could go find me. My social media, all social media is under my name. It's just JAMARIO McCLAIN, JAMARIOMCCLAIN, as it says in the title. And you could go to my website. It's just JAMARIOMcClain.com, and I'll have my shows listed on there. And and if you need a hired comedian, I do private parties. I do quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs, everything. I do churches. I do nursing homes.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, I want to thank you for being here today on Shout Out with Sage. Thanks so much for joining us. And I will see you at a comedy show, I'm sure, pretty soon when I'm out and about.
Oh, yeah. Especially when I'm in Hollywood again soon. I want you to come out. I'll get you VIP tickets.
Ooh, thank you. I'm so special.
Thank you, Sage. I appreciate you having me. It was fun.
Thanks. Thanks for being here. I see you next time when I see you out and about. So
all right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Thanks everyone for joining us today on Streaminn Hub Radio. I'm Sage Stevens, and this is Shout Out with Sage. See you next Wednesday at 4. Bye everyone.